What's up guys, Johnny May here and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you how to take ugly chords like these and make them sound beautiful. Now, do you ever sit at the piano and you just play this chord and it sounds terrible and you think, oh, that's a terrible sounding chord? Well, guess what? You can make almost any chord like this sound really beautiful with one simple trick. And in today's quick tip, I'm going to teach you this trick so that you never play an ugly chord again. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, are you ready for ugly chord number one? Check this chord out. Oh, that sounds awful, okay? This is an A flat major triad in the right hand and a C major triad in the left hand, right? Sounds kind of terrible, honestly, if you were to use this in a song, but you can make this sound really cool when you transform it into this. Oh, that sounds gorgeous, okay? And basically, I just changed one little thing, okay? So here's basically what I did. We started with this A flat major triad and a C major triad, okay? So here's the trick. We're gonna add a seventh to this left-hand chord. So we're turning this C major triad into a C dominant 7. We keep the A flat up here, and then the last thing that you need to do is remove the 5th from the bottom of this chord. Okay, so it's a lot like a C major triad, but we're adding the 7th, we're removing the 5th, and then I like to double this E flat on the bottom, and you get this really cool sounding chord. This is called a C7 chord, and it has some really cool extra notes that we're adding to it. This is called a sharp 9, and this is called a flat 13. These are called chord alterations. If you don't know your chord alterations, you can learn them over at pianowithjohnny.com. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. Okay, so how do we actually use this chord when we're playing a tune? Well, this is really useful whenever you're doing a progression in the key of F major, okay? So like this chord, C dominant 7, would usually go before some type of F chord. So I put together a little chord progression for you here. I've got the C7 here, I've got this A flat triad up here, this D flat, and then we resolve. You can resolve to an F6-9 like this, or you can play it like this. Okay, this is kind of a colorful way of playing an F6-9 chord. So what exactly did we do? Like, what is this chord called? Well, this is called an upper structure triad, okay? And it's a very hip way of harmonizing a dominant 7th chord in jazz music, all right? And you can actually learn all of your upper structure triads in our Coloring Dominant 7th Chords with Upper Structures course over at Piano with Johnny. I'll put a link to that below, okay? So that's gonna be ugly chord number one. It's an A flat over C. You turn it into a C7, and then you can resolve it like that. Super beautiful. Okay, are you ready for ugly chord number two? Here's ugly chord number two. Oh, sounds terrible, okay? This is an E major triad in the right hand. This is a G major chord in the left hand. By the way, these are called polychords. A polychord is basically a chord in the right hand over a chord in the left hand, okay? And so you might have this in some modern music, modern classical music, but again, it's not something that I would traditionally use as a pianist unless I transformed it into this. Oh, sounds so great, so jazzy. So what did we do? So we started with this E over G, just like this, okay? And now here's the trick. We're gonna take this G triad and we're gonna turn it into a dominant 7 chord. So we're adding the F to this chord to make it a G7 chord, okay? Now let's remove the 5th from this chord. It's nice to omit the 5th. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take that 3rd that we originally had in our G chord and I'm just gonna shift it up here. And you get this gorgeous chord, okay? Go ahead and play this with me. G, F, B, E, A flat, and B, okay? This is called a G13 with a flat 9. Okay, it's a really cool sounding chord. It uses chord extensions, also chord alterations. Again, if you don't know these, you can learn all of your chord extensions and alterations over at pianowithjohnny.com. I'll put a link to those below as well, okay? But once again, it's really cool because you have an E flat triad and you have on the bottom a G7 or, you know, notes that are very much included in your G triad, and so we're just transforming it. Now, how do we actually use this in a chord progression? Well, a G7 is usually leading to a C major chord. It's the 5 chord of a key, okay? So I put together a little chord progression for you here. D, and then you can land on like a really pretty C6-9 chord like this, C, E, A, D, G, C, or you could just land on a C major just like this. By the way, the lesson sheet music you're seeing up here on the top left of the screen is downloadable and printable over at pianowithjonny.com. You can also change the key of this sheet music with the click of one button with our smart sheet music, so you can practice it in any one of the 12 keys. All right, I want to teach you the final ugly chord. This is ugly chord number 3, and this one is super ugly. Check it out. Terrible, okay? That doesn't get uglier than that. Okay, so are we gonna be able to save this chord? I don't know. Let's give it a shot, okay? Here we go. This is the transformation. Are you ready? That sounds pretty darn good, okay? So what exactly are we doing here? Well, we started with this super ugly chord, and basically there's a couple things that you're going to want to do with this chord, okay? The first thing is you take that top note C, and we're going to put it on the bottom because we actually want this chord to be a type of C chord, okay? So that's kind of the first step. The next thing to do is to make this a dominant 7th chord. Basically exactly what we did on the other 2 chords, okay? So what's a C dominant 7 chord? C, E, B flat, okay? We already have the G up here in the right hand, okay? So you can leave it out of the left hand here. And then I'm gonna double the E, and we get this sound, okay? Super beautiful. This is called a C7 with a flat 9, okay? Again, this is that chord alteration that makes it sound super beautiful. So how would I actually use this in a chord progression? Well, C7 leads you to some type of F major chord. It's a 5 chord because it's a dominant 7 chord, okay? So you can go C7, B flat, and then you can end on an F6-9 chord, okay? And on this chord, I'm basically playing, you know, the root, the 5th of this chord, and then I have this really colorful C, D, G, and A. This is called an F6-9. You could also just play a normal F major just like this, okay? So this is the trick to transforming these chords, is you turn them into dominant 7 chords and you remove the 5th from the chord. All right, my friends, this concludes this week's quick tip, and if you enjoyed this lesson, I want to encourage you to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 800 step-by-step lessons in jazz, blues, pop, theory, technique, improvisation. It is the full learning platform for all playing levels. Also, be sure to check out the Piano with Jonny membership. This gives you unlimited access to all of our courses, plus you get to be part of our live monthly events, including our live Q&As, our live workshop lessons. We do student assessments where you can send me a video and I'll give you personalized feedback. We do weekly challenges for our members, student collaborations, and we have a ton of fun. So go check out Piano with Jonny, and I'll see you in the next one.